Why, hello there. Hello there. Hello there, Soul Fam. Here I am, Jay with the Tarot Nook. I am currently um, feeling the energy of brand new beginnings. All right. These new beginnings are full of excitement. These new beginnings are full of prosperity. These new beginnings are full of whatever. Whatever is meant to be. You know, the universe is working in these mysterious kind of ways where ultimately there's a lot of these new beginnings ultimately coming forward. Spirit wants you to listen to your intuition. Spirit wants you to understand when it comes down to it, there is no stopping destiny. Now, what does this destiny entail? It's different for everybody. It's different for everybody. It's the kind of energy where um when we ultimately enter this life, right? I mean, we've all lived so many lives, like over and over and over again. For many of us, thousands upon thousands of lives, right? And it's in each of these lives where ultimately, we're set up to learn a specific lesson that we have not learned in the past. Well, March is the beginning to a amazing, amazing month. March, first off, is the first month of the original calendar. Before the Gregorian calendar ultimately began, the year started off with March. So, really, this is the beginning to what used to be the new year. Um, Now, what makes this March so special? Okay. If you are a numerology nut, all right, it's the year of the 10. All right. 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 6 is 10. And 10 is the number of completion. Take away the 0. There's that 1. 1 is the number of new beginnings. Okay. It's also the year of the fire horse in the Chinese zodiac. And what does the horse symbolize? Movement. The horse symbolizes movement. The horse symbolizes swift action, going in for the kill to ultimately, bring on the prosperity and abundance that is set up for them, that is destined to happen. You know what I mean? So it's the kind of situation. March is going to be a month full of brand new beginnings. It's going to be a month that is going to be full of nothing but abundance and prosperity. And it's in this prosperity and abundance that we're really, really owning the true version of ourselves, the true version of who you are. Who's Jason? Who's, I don't know, like a Jessica? Who's Jessica? Who's Jennifer? Who's Frankie? Whatever the case may be. This is when we ultimately own who we truly are and what we truly, truly want. It's the kind of situation overall. This is when we officially choose us. It's been a long time coming. It has been a long time coming. We have been through a lot of challenges. We have been through a lot of awakenings. We have been through a lot. All right. And these, it's in each of these obstacles that we've had to overcome that ultimately we learned something new about ourselves. We learned that, wow, maybe I don't have as much of a shitty voice as I thought I did. All of a sudden you're belting, I don't know, Meatloaf, and then bam, 2 out of 3 is definitely not bad. You know what I mean? It's the kind of situation. I mean, you may be ultimately, just walking down the street and you look at yourself in a window and you're like, wow, like this really doesn't this checkered print does not look bad on me. It's like all of a sudden, bam, like we are bringing in this kind of confidence that is bringing on that version of us that we found for ourselves. It's all about self-love. It's all about self-empowerment. It's all about what will drive you closer towards your greatest good. It's all enlightenment. And I feel March is that kind of month, which is going to ultimately show you how much you've enlightened, how much you've ultimately made it through, and what is rightfully yours. And that is nothing but abundance and prosperity, okay? Which is why the crystal fell on the ground. The crystal of March is going to be angelite. All right, angelite, it's a kind of bland crystal. All right, angelite is like almost kind of like a milky baby blue. right? But angelite is such a powerful, powerful crystal because angelite is the kind of crystal that you use when you ultimately want to get in touch with the archangels. All right. As I was meditating before I was meditating, well, as I was meditating before I was meditating, as I was meditating before I went live, a figure ultimately came up to me. You know, it looked almost kind of, it looked like a person, like a blank slate. But then as it, you know, just got closer and closer and closer, um, started feeling like this, like, you know, like feeling of like almost kind of like just being free, you know? And I asked who this figure was, and it was Archangel Zachiel. All right. Now, if we know archangels in the Jewish and the Christian tradition, right? Archangel Zachiel means God of righteousness. Okay. He's known as the angel of mercy and freedom. So it's like overall, like, you know, like Zachiel was ultimately saying, you're free. You are not tied up. You are not held down. It's like, I feel as if all of these lessons that ultimately have been bashing upon us, you know, was ultimately meant to set ourselves free from bondage that we may not have known was keeping us bondage. You know what I mean? Like they say, like that saying, you know, sometimes you're your own worst enemy through acceptance, right? Accepting how things may be, accepting how this may be, how that may be, how that may be, how this has been thrown our way. It's the kind of situation I feel as if we needed to ultimately it's like we had to get into a corner to really open our eyes, like eagle eyes wide, to ultimately spot what is wrong in our lives. All right. And I feel as if by spotting these habits, I'm telling you, we set ourselves free. We set the kind of energy that has been holding us down for why were we keeping that energy around? Because of trauma, because of the things that happened to us in our past. I was just watching a phenomenal live earlier today where ultimately the speaker was saying how, you know, when we're a baby, you know, there's reflexes which ultimately, you know, like that ultimately, like pretty much like it's like trauma begins at birth, you know, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, like we forget about the trauma, but it's the kind of situation like I feel as like life. I feel as life. I said that for a reason. I feel as life took us by surprise in so many ways, right? A little bit about me. All right. I was bullied. I was bullied all throughout grade school. You know, like from the moment I stepped into, not all throughout, but from the moment I stepped into middle school to the moment I graduated high school. What is that? That's 6 years of my life. I was called nothing but faggot. You know, I was pinned against lockers. I was pinned against trees. I was fucking tormented. Excuse my language. But it's because of those kids that tormented me. It's because of all the abuse that I ultimately had to survive, which unfortunately in this crazy world, not everyone is lucky enough to survive what I went through. You know, but I'm a survivor. I've been in these connections, which ultimately have bashed me down. I don't know if I ever told you all this before, but it's the kind of situation when you go through that kind of energy, it affects your relationships. It affects the relationship that you have with yourself. But 2025 was a year for me, along with, I feel, a lot of us. It's been a year for all of us where all of a sudden that trauma was shedded. It's like we shed that sludge. We saw the things that held us back for so long. In some instances, we forgot about it, you know, because we're human. You know, if you're good at ultimately compartmentalizing trauma, like hi, it's the kind of situation overall, you know, like it's tough to spot it, but 2025 was the year where we spotted this trauma. All right. And we found power in the trauma and we made those giant steps forward to ultimately regain our independence, regain our power. And Zach Hale came forward to me today an hour ago, not even an hour ago, maybe 45 minutes ago, saying that we have been set free. The patterns that we ultimately took on for so long were there because ultimately maybe we forgot they were there. We're human, you know? But 2025 was a year when we ultimately shed that dirty skin, you know, and ultimately it just fell right off of us. And it just like, you know, it's like all of a sudden we woke up to the power that we are free. Now, Spirit ultimately in March is ultimately really, really, really putting forward everything we've manifested, okay? The things you've wanted, the things you needed, the things that, you know, like you stepped into this lifetime claiming to happen, you know, everything is ultimately adding up to March, okay? And it's in March that we're going to take a deep breath and feel like as if like, you know, like we're it's like we're breathing all over again. I'm seeing like a rebirth of self. Like I'm seeing like, you know, like come March, it's like all of a sudden, you know, like we're in like the womb of the universe and we're breaching the wall and all of a sudden, bam, we have a whole new world in front of us. You know what I mean? And it's in this world that we are going to be in March, really. March is a big month, my friends. It is such a big month. It's in this month that we're seeing the love and the power and the prosperity and the free will and the freedom and the ability to just grab life by the balls and to truly just grab life by the balls. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull these tarot cards, okay? This is not easy energy to work with. It's not, because when you put life on pause and then all of a sudden, bam, it's put into play, you know, like all of a sudden, like, you know, like it's all this new energy like coming around from all over. And it's the kind of situation like I feel as if, you know, like it takes a lot, you know, it's like, you know, like let's say like, for example, right? You've trained your entire life to be an Olympic gold medalist in swimming, let's say, right? You got to the pool every single day. You did 8 hours a day. You sacrificed, you know, like everything just to win this medal. And when Michael Phelps officially won that medal, he became just like an icon, an American hero, you know. But it's a kind of situation like when you get that energy, it's like all of a sudden all the preparing has got you exactly where you are meant to be. You know, Spirit wants you to trust yourself. Spirit is handing you these opportunities of money, of wealth, of value, of freedom, of love, or whatever the universe is handing you. All right. Spirit wants you to ultimately open your arms and accept what feels right. And when you accept what feels right, like just know you're free. Know that the old rules no longer apply. And just take that trust fall into the universe. The fool, and I guarantee you, this fool is going to be popping up out of nowhere. Ah, there it is. You know, like it's a new beginning, and the fool is such a beautiful card because, like, it's all about having this new beginning. The fool on here chose a woman, and she's ultimately taking a trust fall like off a cliff into like a Mandela, right? Or no, it's not a Mandela. It's I think it's a Metatron circle, or I don't know, something like that, a geometric shape, right? She's taking a trust fall into the universe, not knowing what's going to happen, but knowing it's a brand new beginning. On the typical Rider-Waite tarot deck, it shows a gesture. All right. He's like, you know, prancing around by a cliff with a dog running around his ankles. And he has one sack and he's like, all right, I don't know what's going to happen, you know, but bottoms up, you know. So it's the kind of energy like Spirit just wants us to ultimately trust in the magic of a new beginning and allow this new beginning to grow into something that you never thought would be possible. Because what I'm hearing now, the impossible is possible. All right. So let's see what we got here. The Ace of Pentacles. That's the first card to come up. The Ace of Pentacles. It's Aces, brand new energy, right? The Ace of Pentacles is a brand new pentacle being handed. This is the universe handing us a pentacle. All right. I tell you, this is how it goes. I go ahead on my spiel and then all of a sudden, bam. It's the kind of situation with the Ace of Pentacles. It's a brand new beginning, a brand new opportunity of prosperity, of wealth, of if maybe you're like looking for a new job and you don't know if this new job is going to work out. Spirit is like, yes, absolutely, it's meant to work out. If you've been looking for something of substance, of stability, of something that will bring you the kind of wealth that just makes you feel so good about your life, it's happening. All right. This is very powerful energy, along with the King of Pentacles. All right. Okay. All right. Along with the Nine of Swords in reverse. That is so powerful. That is so powerful. The King of Pentacles is the dude that has worked his entire life. You know, he started from the ground up. Now, all of a sudden, he's retired. He has his retirement plan. He has that 401k. He is going on that trip to Cabo, and he is going to be in Cabo for I don't know, like 3 months, and he's unapologetic about it. He's like, yeah, I have the prosperity. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go on a vacation to Cabo. I'm going to go on a vacation to I don't know, the Maldives or the Maldives or however you say it, the French Peninsula. You know, like he doesn't care. He's done all of the sacrificing. He's done all the work, and now he is using his instincts and using that power within him to enjoy what he knows is rightfully his. You know, with the Nine of Swords in reverse, I love that. I love that. And I don't usually read reversals, but I'm going to read it this time. The Nine of Swords upright is feeling the nightmares and allowing yourself to just purge, like just scream on the top of your lungs. It's a transition. It's a transition from overthinking and crying yourself to sleep to ultimately screaming on the top of your lungs, taking that fear and taking those nightmares and making it your superpower. All right. With it being in reverse, my friends, the Nine of Swords in reverse is ultimately saying you have screamed on the top of your lungs. You have felt like you're going to lose your damn mind, okay? But this is you using that power. This is you not hesitating. This is you feeling ready to just let go. To just let go of the overthinking, to just let go of the naysaying, the constant doubts, you know, and you allowing yourself to allow the universe to take the wheel. This is ultimately Spirit saying prosperity is yours. That overthinking that ultimately you've been on a roller coaster with, like, and this roller coaster has been that kind of like, I don't know if you've ever been to like, you know, like a county fair and there's that ring of fire or whatever they call now. And it's just a roller coaster that just goes round, upside down, upside down, upside down. And all of a sudden it just stops on the top and you're hanging upside down and whatever. It's my favorite, one of my favorite rides. But ultimately, like, this is the kind of like, you know, like energy where like, you know, like you just felt as if like, you know, just hanging on forever. Like, all right, I'm over it. You know, like, when is this going to end? It's a kind of energy where ultimately, you know, like, it's like I feel as if like the operator is not in control of that ring of fire. You are now. All right. You're done hanging upside down and you like, and yeah, you're done with it, right? There's the Magician. So much manifestation. All right. And I love this energy, my friends. By the way, I love this energy because last week we got the Fool. The Fool, once again, is that dude that just doesn't care. He's like, oh, I'm gonna go like skip around a cliff, and I don't care if I fall to the, like, I don't care, you know, like, you know, bottoms up, you know, like, I don't know why I keep on saying bottoms up. Maybe like maybe that means something to somebody, but with the Magician, we have Magician being number one. Okay, so we went from last week being at number 0, and this is to number 1. It was a new beginning last week, and now with number 1, the Magician, we're seeing that we manifested this new beginning. Okay, so it's a kind of situation, March. All right, it's like we stepped out of February in new beginning mode, and we're stepping into March knowing exactly what this new beginning ultimately entails and ultimately putting it into full fruition. The magician works with all of the elements: air, water, fire, and earth, right? Air is our intellect. All right. Water is our emotions. Fire is the drive that we ultimately have within us. And earth is nothing but stability. All right. He uses all of the elements to his disposal to manifest exactly what he's meant to manifest for himself. All right. And he does it. He does it. No bars held, with the page of swords along with the seven of pentacles. Like, we've manifested a new beginning where we are thinking freely, just like Zacchaeus ultimately came forward and said. It's like we've manifested the ability to think differently. We've manifested the ability to, see things from a different angle, think about things from a different angle. And it's in these new ideas. It's in these new ideas. It's in this new information that we've been downloading. All right. Knowingly or not knowingly, it's new information to us. Okay. Pages ultimately are students. They're learning how to work with like the element that they're ultimately given. Right. Page of swords is Aquarius energy. All right. So ultimately, Aquarians, if you know an Aquarian, hi, here I am. We think, but we keep it to ourselves because we're so fucking stubborn. We're not going to let the world know that we're thinking. We're the rebels of the zodiac. So I feel as if overall it's the kind of situation. The Page of Swords is all about learning how to work with this new way of processing information. All right. With the Seven of Pentacles, what does that bring on? Nothing but growth. We're manifesting these new ways of processing information to grow as people. This is ultimately Spirit saying we are not stagnant. We are not. We're just not stagnant. We are ultimately seeing that we are ready for growth. And we're putting the energy out into the universe knowing that we're ready for this growth. And this growth is bringing on a new kind of perspective with the Hermit. All right. Now, the Hermit is the card of Virgo. And if we know anything about Virgos, Virgos love their structure. They love a calendar. They love all right, on the first, I'm doing this. On the second, I'm doing this and this. But this one might outweigh this one by a little much. I'm going to go ahead and take a chance and I'm going to do that day. But the next day, it's like they're so fucking structured. It's like, oh my God, how is it? How can you even do it? But it's possible. It's the kind of situation. It's in that structure. It's in that order, my friends, that we're seeing this new perspective. We're seeing this new energy that is ultimately, really it's like the Hermit is like, I love this Hermit because it shows a woman, she's meditating, she's floating in the air, and there's a light coming from her. She's in the dark. She's concentrating on her light. On the typical Rider-Waite card, it shows a mysterious man. He's cloaked and he's holding a lantern, right? And that lantern lies the star. Okay, that star is that ultimate shining star, that Polaris in the sky. That's the star of hope. This new perspective that we're bringing in is ultimately, carrying this North Star. And the star is the card of Aquarius. So, I feel as if, just in case y'all don't know, right now we are in the age of Aquarius. Okay, this is the age of Aquarius. This is the kind of energy we're in. All right, I feel as if it's like with the Emperor. I'm just gonna say, ultimately, this is a pretty deep reading because we're already, not even 3/4 in, and this is our third major arcana card. All right, March is going to be a month where we're bringing in this new perspective that is bringing on so much stability. We're bringing in this new perspective that is going to be so grounding. It is insane about how grounding that energy is going to be. Okay. It's like all of a sudden, bam, we're going to be like, huh? This is who I've become. Wow. I'm stable as what? I had no idea. It's the kind of situation we're going to be feeling the order. We're going to be feeling the structure. We're going to be feeling that drive to ultimately succeed and bulldoze whatever needs to be bulldozed down to ultimately create that space to build that new us. Emperor is the card of Aries, and there's the Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups is partnership, is romance, is kind of partnership that ultimately can be that be all to ends all kind of partnership. But this could also go towards business as well. So it's the kind of situation you're putting, you're getting a new perspective in regards to what is going to make you stable. And from that stability, there is a love or a partnership that's coming forward that's going to bring on that epic, beautiful, romantic connection that you've been hoping for, or maybe even a creative way to ultimately set some kind of business union in motion. Like I'm telling you, like I feel as if like this is some very, very deep energy because we are ready to ultimately, with the Nine of Pentacles, pick what will bring us prosperity. Like March is going to be a month where we are going to be manifesting so much energy, and we're going to be manifesting this energy knowing that it belongs to us. And we are not going to be double guessing this energy because we understand that we have this one life to live. You know, this is when the rest of our lives begin. Truly, that's the energy that's ultimately coming forward. The Nine of Pentacles is that card of ultimate, like, you know, like prosperity. Having grown this pentacle, this tree of pentacles, and all of a sudden, bam, you know, these pentacles are at full fruition. Now is the time. It's almost kind of like an apple tree, right? You have an apple orchard, and all of a sudden, it's a time when the apples are at their fullest. No worms have ultimately crawled through the apple. There's no like brown patches on it. These apples are clear for the taking. It's the kind of apple which you just want to like bite into, you know? That's exactly what it is. It's like, you know, like we've been able to grow this pentacle tree. And Spirit is ultimately saying now is your time to enjoy it because with the Nine of Pentacles, there's the Ten of Pentacles. It's like we're finally picking the apples that will bring us this Ten of Pentacles energy. And the Ten of Pentacles is a new beginning of financial and material wealth. It's that epic, 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 and they lived happily ever after kind of energy. Like it's like, you know, like a new beginning of emotional fulfillment. It's a new beginning of of financial fulfillment. Love and money run on the same frequency, my friend. So it's the kind of situation I feel as if this energy that's coming in, you know, is ultimately, you know, like energy that we've just manifested unknowingly. And it's like these opportunities are ultimately being like handed to us. Spirit is saying you are the king of your castle with the King of Swords. You have control over what you're thinking. And the King of Swords is the King of Aquarius. No, 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 I'm sorry. The Queen of Swords is Aquarius. The King of Swords is Libra. So it's the kind of situation the King of Swords comes in, you know, having ultimately like slayed that fire breathing dragon. All right. He has thought some really tough things. He has beat himself over the head, bam, 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 with the things that ultimately he's been processing. And this is a beautiful card because this King of Swords, there is a raven. If you all don't know what ravens ultimately symbolize a spiritual kind of enlightenment. All right, it's a raven is a spiritual omen. Okay, right next to him, there's an owl. All right, the wise old owl that ultimately can spot like a small little mouse in like a meadow. You know, like these owls, they're very wise with very keen eyesight. Right. There is a bat in the distance, and bats ultimately, you know, don't see, but they communicate with sounds. It's like I feel as if like the King of Swords knows exactly what he's hearing. He's wise and spiritually aligned to the point where he is on the top of his castle above the clouds and he's seeing clearly. I can see clearly now, the rain has gone. He can see all obstacles in his way. You know, it's the kind of situation the King of Swords, you know, is the king of his castle. He knows what is ultimately going to come forward and mess him up, and he knows what's going to lift him higher, and he's not going to accept anything else than the things that will ultimately lift him higher. You know, I feel as if with the Three of Pentacles, this is about community. This is about community. I feel as if a lot of us, you know, are so used to doing things themselves. Okay. A lot of us, you know, are like, you know what? There's a team. And it's the kind of situation you're like, should I really work with this team or not? And it's like you're deciding to work with the team. All right. So it's a kind of opportunity to ultimately, Spirit is saying, collaborate, to be open to working with people. All right. And to know that your community has your back. All right. With the 10 of Wands, with the Page of Pentacles. All right. The 10 of Wands is the completion in regards to feeling as if you have everything on your back. The Page of Pentacles is a new beginning of financial wealth. So learning a specific gift that you have, or ultimately maybe like, like planting your foot in a new job, and ultimately, like getting ready to grow with this job, whatever the case may be. I overall, this is the kind of energy that will really, 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 really serve you for your greatest good. It's in this energy, my friends, which we're ultimately owning this new beginning of exactly who we've become. And we're putting that energy into motion. And since we're putting that energy into motion, these new beginnings are ultimately happening. That's bringing on nothing but money. That's bringing on nothing but job security. That's bringing on nothing but new opportunities for love, for new opportunities of creativity, for new opportunities full of spirituality. Overall, with the two final cards, with the Justice and the Chariot. All right. The Justice is the card of balance, of being able to balance your yin and your yang, the card of Libra. And the Chariot there is the card of movement, of full speed ahead. All right. It's not an easy journey that we've been on, but the Chariot is all about going in full throttle and not holding back. All right. I'm just going to say we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 6 major arcana cards. All right. That's the big picture. All right, so Getty, get ready to receive and know that the world is yours for the taking. Okay, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Four of Wands, we have the Page of Wands, and there's the Fool. This is a new beginning where we're bringing on stability. This is a new beginning where we're bringing on activity. Work with Angelite. All right, Angelite is that crystal that ultimately is going to be bringing you nothing but angelic wisdom, angelic communication, and nothing but the utmost love from the universe. All right, it's a very soft energy. So, let me go ahead. I'm going to pull a card from my affirmation deck, okay? Let's see exactly what affirmation we will be working with for March. All right. And then that is going to be the reading. All right. Normally I pull cards from my Oracle decks, but it was a massive message that was very big. I don't think we need the Oracle decks today. So let's go ahead and let's pull affirmation. I love this. Today, I choose hope. Okay? Today, I choose hope. Nature loves me. Opening my heart to nature helps me feel happy and peaceful. So I'm hearing with this 50-something degree weather here in New York, wherever you are in the world, I don't know. Get outside. Get outside. If you love driving, go for a drive in nature, soak in, your surroundings. If you can just be outside and, just like meditate, that's your opportunity. Spirit is saying March. I think the beginning of March is, I think March 21st. I think that's the first day of spring. I'm not sure. I don't think it's not April. I think it's March. I really don't know. Just know that there are brighter, warmer days ahead of us. Next week, we're supposed to have a day that is, March. March 20th. It's a kind of situation like the birds are going to be chirping. Hay fever is there, so get your Allegra ready, okay? Because I think this spring is going to be a big time for allergies. I'm just saying, but Spirit wants you to be outside. All right. It's going to be 60 degrees out next week. I think we're getting almost up to 70. Hello, global warming, right? Just even when things aren't perfect or don't seem to be working out, choose to trust in life, okay? But the main affirmation is going to be today, I choose hope, okay? So that is the collective reading, all right? It's going to be a beautiful, amazing month full of so much opportunity, full of so many manifestations, so many blessings. Spirit wants you to ultimately remain open. Know that there are I'm hearing new business opportunities, okay? New business opportunities, remain open. All right. And know that I'm not saying the best is yet to come. March, the best is happening. Okay. So I love you all very much. I hope everyone has a great week. I'm going to be going live midweek Wednesday with a midweek energy check-in. All right. And I'll see y'all then. All righty. Have a good night.